So today, let's talk about End of Days, which I just watched for the first time yesterday, and I think this is awesome because this is the first Arnold Schwarzenegger movie I think I might have reviewed on my channel. Now that I think about it, which I am a big fan of Mr. Schwarzenegger. Like, he's such an awesome actor. He's got that. He's one of those actors where like he has that personality that even when something is cheesy, he like gives it like a great reason to watch it because of his charisma. Like, this is such a charismatic actor and always has been. But I think this is my first Arnold movie I might have reviewed, honestly, on this channel. I can't remember. I'm kind of blanking on it now, but I feel like this might be the first one, which is sad because I've seen a lot of Arnold movies and I want to review a lot more of them. But this is the first one I think I've reviewed on this channel because it's more horror-centric in October. And I like that excuse to watch a horror movie with Arnold in it. And this isn't completely a horror movie. It's a more of a horror slash thriller slash action movie. Which is just one of the Arnold movies that I haven't seen. I've missed that. There's a couple others that I want to see of his, like The Sixth Day and Eraser I haven't seen. Or Maggie. But I'm glad that I got to make the excuse to watch a horror movie with Arnold in it for October, since I've been watching a horror movie every day for October. And this movie is very, very... I don't know what to say about this movie because it's really odd in a way where I didn't really love it that much. I thought it was just alright. The basic plot of this is Satan possesses Gabriel Byrne, and Gabriel Byrne is Satan in human form, and he's trying to find a bride to give birth to his child. And it's Arnold and Kevin Pollak who have to go and save the day and go and try to stop him. And it's really weird. Like, I don't know, like it's a totally fine movie. Like, they do an alright job of like this movie and just how they elaborate on everything and how, you know, the basic plot. Like, it's a basic movie where like Satan is trying to find this bride who this girl's actually had dreams of him having sex with him since she was a kid, which sounds odd, but like it's her destiny to become his wife, and she's dreamed about him forever. And it's totally alright with the plot and the story, but I think, honestly, this is one of those cases where Arnold is totally fine in it, and Gabriel Byrne is totally fine in it, and Kevin Pollak is totally fine in it, but it's just so weird for its own good that I didn't love it. I thought that it had good serious moments in it, but like, and Arnold is played more straight in this than being goofy. Like, he's definitely playing it more serious in this movie, but there's moments where it's really silly, like, and weird. For example, there was a man, like the girl who is going to become Satan's bride, like, she keeps dreaming about him. Then she has this hallucination on a subway where this homeless guy comes up to her and he said like something like, Satan's gonna fuck you, and you're gonna have his kid, and something really weird like that. And then the guy with this bad CGI breaks apart into pieces, and then you see his half head on the ground just saying, like, repeating what he was saying before. And she imagines this and nobody else sees it, so she's just seeing this herself. And it's a really weird scene because the CGI isn't that good. It's very noticeable in this one. And then there's a weird scene where you have Gabriel Byrne as Satan meet up with the girl and her, like, these two other characters, and it suddenly cuts to this threesome where like they're all three of them are having a threesome, but like he's melding his skin with their skin and they're moaning, so like they're all getting pleasure out of just him melding into the two women. It's really weird. Again, it's a strange movie with this type of like it's not unintentionally hilarious, but it's so odd. It's such an odd thing that it makes this movie kind of strange in a way that just doesn't work very well for me. And there's a couple alright creepy moments, like that moment where the patient is on the ceiling, hung up like a cross. Like, that's totally fine. But we needed more scenes like that. We didn't need as many silly scenes because it falters by being so silly for me. And again, Arnold and Gabriel Byrne are played more straight. They're not playing silly characters, but they still are kind of silly in a way. It's weird because Arnold tried to be more serious in this movie, it seemed like. But there's just moments where I'm like, oh, it doesn't work in a serious note. And Arnold can be serious in movies. Like I've seen him do some good movies where he's serious. But in this one it just didn't work, where he was serious but it was still kind of silly unintentionally, even though it wasn't his fault. And Gabriel Byrne's fault. It wasn't their fault either. It's just a weird hybrid of like silliness with seriousness where like I thought this just didn't work for me. And again, Arnold and Gabriel are both fun, but it seems like they are hamming it up unintentionally without trying to. Like it's weird because they're not even trying to be silly, but they are. Because like the way that Gabriel Byrne talks and the way that Arnold talks, sometimes it's just lines that are trying to be played serious, but they just come out as silly. So I don't know. But visually, this one has a couple okay moments. Like I said, that woman, patient up on the wall, like on the ceiling, made like a cross on top of the ceiling is pretty good. But we needed more of that. We just didn't get enough creepy moments. We got a lot of silly moments. And this is very dated in the fact with the CGI and with this based on Y2K. It's like, because this came out in 1999, so it's like the end of the world is 2000. And you can obviously tell it wasn't the end of the world. Or was it? Maybe it is, and we're just imagining that we're still alive. But this plot is based on Y2K. It's like, oh, they're gonna, like, Satan is going to get his bride, and it's gonna end the world. Like, he's gonna have his kid. The world is gonna be ended in 2000. And it's just funny how they base it on Y2K, which it isn't terrible. It's just funny to see that because it's something that obviously is immensely dated because it's like that never happened to us, that we all died in 2000. So yeah, I thought that it's just funny seeing that Y2K stuff in this movie, just remembering, like I wasn't very old whenever in 1999 or 2000, but I just think it's funny to see how people were reacting to that. And in this movie, they filmed it that way, like it's actually going to happen. Like, Y2K will actually happen. So, this one is dated in a lot of ways. The CGI is really crazy. It's not very good. It's funny. It's a 1999 Universal movie. The same year The Mummy Returns came out. Oh, no, The Mummy Returns came out in 2001. I'm sorry. The Mummy 1 came out in 1999. But The Mummy Returns has really crazy ass CGI in it, like the Rock, the Rock that's the Scorpion King, like he's an actual part scorpion, half the Rock, and it is silly as hell. And this has a couple moments like that, not as silly, but the CGI is pretty dated. And I hate to say that, I hate to point out, oh, it's dated CGI, but I feel like that's the only thing I can talk about with this movie because everything else is just kind of average. It's just really an average horror movie that had a lot of unintentionally silly moments with a couple okay moments that were serious. So Arnold was totally fine. Gabriel Byrne was totally fine. But they just were still unintentionally like silly even though they were trying to be serious. And it's not their fault, I don't think. The way this film feels, it just makes sense how they were misinterpreted. So, overall, this one was just a weird one. It was an interesting watch. I'm glad I saw it, because, again, I like to see all of Arnold's movies. I haven't seen them all. Gabriel Byrne's great, again, like usual. So it's just an average movie that I'm glad I saw, even though I'll kind of forget about it. So, and I only spent $50 at Goodwill to get this. Or, $50, 25 cents to get this. God, I don't know why I said $50. Forgive me. But I got this for 25 cents at Goodwill, so what wrong could I do that I got this? So yeah, this overall was just completely and utterly average, and I thought it was just adequate, had a couple cool moments, had a couple silly moments, so overall just pretty average horror movie.